TV Spotlight, Callan. Warning: this review contains spoilers. Callan is the name of a British spy drama series that ran for 4 seasons between 1967 and 1972. It starred Edward Woodward, later to become famous on American television in the 1980s as the not dissimilar character of former spy Robert McCall, also known as the Equalizer, as the title character, David Callan. Callan is a working-class former soldier who works for the Section, an agency of the British security services that officially does not exist and is tasked with carrying out decidedly unethical and illegal jobs in the name of national security, including outright murder. Callan began life as a one-off play called A Magnum for Schneider, part of the popular anthology drama series Armchair Theatre. Audience response to the play was so great the decision was made to turn it into a series, with play and series being created by James Mitchell. Callan was a massive success with audiences and critics alike and turned Woodward into a massive star on British television. The first 2 seasons are in black and white, with series 3 and 4 in colour, with British television only switching to colour in 1970. The series thus has a similar feel and production style to it to most other shows of the time, such as Doctor Who. In addition to Callan, the series has a number of other prominent central characters, including Lonely, Toby Mears, James Cross and a succession of characters who are known by the codename Hunter, the head of the section to which Callan reports. Lonely, played by Russell Hunter, familiar to Doctor Who fans as Commander Yuvanov in the Tom Baker story The Robots of Death, appears in all 4 seasons and is a small-time thief and rather sad little man with a massive body odor problem who Callan uses to perform various little jobs on his assignments. Although their relationship is often seen to be rather abusive in nature, Callan is nonetheless inexplicably fond and protective of his unofficial sidekick, and does not react well to him being threatened. Toby Mears, played by the absolutely fantastic Anthony Valentine, is a fellow agent. Younger and more upper class than Callan, Mears oozes charm and class and seems to generally thoroughly enjoy his job, often seeming rather sadistic. However, Valentine's performance is so superb and so charming that Mears is a swine it is impossible not to love, and he is probably my favorite character in the series. Toby and Callan initially despise each other, though their relationship softens slightly as the show goes on, and in the 4th season they seem much more congenial to one another, Mears even going out of his way to unofficially help Callan protect Lonely after the latter becomes the target of an organized crime syndicate, stepping out of the shadows at a crucial moment to save both their lives. Mears is a regular in the first 2 seasons, but sadly was written out of the 3rd season due to the actor being unavailable. However, Mears returns to the series again midway through season 4 as a regular character. Toby's replacement as a fellow section agent in season 3 is James Cross, played by Patrick Moore. Cross is younger, brasher and crasser than Mears, and his relationship with Callan is frequently as antagonistic as his predecessors was in the early seasons. Cross is written out of the series midway through season 4, soon after Toby's return. After an operation goes wrong and results in the death of an innocent teenage girl, Cross's mental state deteriorates and he eventually gets himself killed, taking a foolish risk, with a clear suggestion that he may have developed a death wish. 4 other characters inhabit the role of section chief known as Hunter throughout the series. The first Hunter is played by Ronald Radd, who is without doubt the biggest bastard to fill this position. Callan has a natural disdain for authority that leads to conflict with all of the Hunters, but his absolute hatred for this particular Hunter is far more personal. This Hunter seems to relish torturing Callan and to not only have zero ethical problems with some of the decidedly immoral actions he orders, but to actually enjoy giving those orders and force Callan to carry them out. This guy really is a piece of work. He eventually moves to another department, much to Callan's relief, and his replacement as Hunter is played by Michael Goodliffe. This character is a very different Hunter from his sadistic predecessor. Essentially a civil servant who has simply been transferred from another department, He is much more professional and his relationship with Callan much less antagonistic, although Callan still feels he is ill-equipped to deal with his new position. Callan may well have been right, as in the episode Let's Kill Everybody, one of the most shocking episodes of the series in which all section operatives are targeted by a foreign assassin. This hunter is one of the agents to perish at the hands of the killer. His replacement is played by Philip Bond. This hunter is a former friend and colleague of Callan's, and again while Callan simply doesn't like being ordered around by anyone, their relationship is much friendlier and generally more respectful than was the case with his predecessors, something that makes the manner of his departure all the more ironic and shocking. In the dramatic final episode of Season 2, also the last black and white episode, Callan is abducted by enemy agents posing as his own people, who accuse him of treason. Abused, drugged and brainwashed, Callan is left believing that Hunter has framed him for treason and murdered Lonely, and is then allowed to escape. At which point the addled Callan returns to HQ and shoots this Hunter dead, only to be himself shot down by Mears. It's an absolutely jaw-dropping cliffhanger that could have marked the end of the series, but public demand put paid to that idea. The sort of final hunter is played by William Squire, well known to Doctor Who fans as the sinister shadow in the Tom Baker story The Armageddon Factor. This hunter is probably the most fleshed out and developed of all the hunters, and comes across as a fundamentally decent man who is doing an extremely difficult and thankless job to the best of his abilities, but at the same time is willing to make harsh decisions without apology. In a brilliant display of dramatic irony, this hunter departs from the position for a time in Season 4, and is replaced by Callan himself, who finds he does not like being hunter himself any more than he liked taking orders from them. The only other characters to appear in the series on a recurring basis are Liz and Snell. Liz is played by Lisa Langdon, who works as secretary to all of the hunters. Liz is a minor character who rarely gets much time in the spotlight, with the exception of one episode in which it is revealed that she has been having an affair with Cross, who learns the hard way that you do not dip your wick in the company ink. Snell, played by Clifford Rose, who went on to success as a Gestapo officer in Secret Army and its spin-off series and who also appeared in a Tom Baker Doctor Who story, Warrior's Gate, who serves as the section psychiatrist and quasi-interrogator, who often uses powerful mind-altering drugs to force information out of suspects. Unfortunately, in a situation all too familiar to fans of classic Doctor Who, a number of the black and white 60s episodes are missing. There were a total of 21 episodes across the first 2 seasons, but now there are only 12 remaining. However, all of Seasons 3 and 4 remain intact. Callan is an absolutely brilliant drama thriller series that I cannot recommend highly enough. I had heard of the show before, and knew Woodward from The Equalizer and the film The Wicker Man, but I had never seen it up until 3 years ago when I decided to take a punt on the network DVD set of the black and white episodes. Let us just say that I had ordered the color set before I was even halfway through the black and white episodes. The series is gritty, dark as fuck, brilliantly acted by a fantastic cast and completely gripping to watch, and has quickly become one of my favorite television series of all time. If there are any fans of cult classic British television that haven't already sampled this masterpiece, I recommend you do so immediately. And yes, you should absolutely start with the black and white episodes. I give Callan an A+.